actually had a video request from Crystal to do a video on breastfeeding and breastfeeding in public. So I thought I would just do a whole breastfeeding update between me and Kaya. She is 4 months old, a little over 4 months old, and we've been exclusively breastfeeding. She was on a bottle for all of 24 hours when I had my surgery done, but she now refuses the bottle again, so she's only been on breast because I do stay at home with her, so it hasn't been an issue. She's doing really, really well. We are definitely finally into like a routine, like my boobs know when she's hungry, and I don't get engorged anymore because my milk's kind of finally settled down. For a while there I was dealing with a very heavily oversupply, and which caused a forceful letdown, which was really hard to deal with because she would just start spurting everywhere and I'd just be soaked even out in public. So it has been nice that finally has kind of fixed itself. I think it took about 3 months for that to happen, of just like regular breastfeeding. What else is happening? I think that's pretty much it. She's a really good eater. She eats maybe 6 to 8 times a day. Morning time she'll go the first 4 hours without even eating anything. After she wakes up she'll just be perfectly content just kind of hanging out, and then she'll want to eat before a nap and then when she wakes up. So that's pretty great. She eats about once or twice during the night, and I think that's it. What Crystal wanted to know was how to kind of become a public breastfeeder, which sounds so weird I think to some people, but it's completely understandable. Because there is this stigma of, people breastfeeding out in public being gross and, getting stares and stuff, it's understandable that there would be moms who would be kind of ambivalent or not necessarily comfortable nursing in public. I myself didn't know how I was going to handle that because I was young when I had Wyatt. I think I was 22 or 23 when I had him. So, I did feel kind of uncomfortable at first nursing out in public, but after a while it was just kind of the ease of nursing out in public instead of fighting with a bottle with him was so worth it that I just said screw it, kind of. I do use a cover most of the time. If I'm wearing a nursing top and I'm in a place where it's kind of private or people wouldn't really notice, I'll just throw like a blanket over me and do it like I am now. But I don't like showing my breasts. I know a lot of women are comfortable just like pulling their boobs out, but I'm not, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but at the same time I do think we all need to respect the people who aren't huge fans of breastfeeders in public, because I think they aren't fans because of women like that. And I don't think that we need to be ashamed and cover up, but I do also think that we should respect other people's feelings just as much as they should respect ours. So coming halfway and covering up, I don't think is that big of a deal. But for those of you who aren't confident in, breastfeeding in public, I don't think that that's going to change unless you change necessarily. And I don't think that, I'm not saying that what you're doing is wrong or how you feel about breastfeeding in public is wrong, but I do think that you need to kind of just, which sounds really hard to do and it's easier said than done, but you need to kind of just be confident in yourself. I know that when I was insecure about being looked down upon by people, it was hard for me to kind of put myself out there on here, let alone pull my boobs out and feed my child out in public. But what we're doing is not gross. It's not something that we should be ashamed of. And you just kind of have to ignore everybody else. You have to ignore the dirty glares. Hi. Can you please eat? You just need to ignore them, and I know it will take time. It took time to kind of just completely ignore people. I was still at the end of breastfeeding Wyatt out in public, still a little bit paranoid that people were staring at me, but after a while it became so much of, I kind of liked that they were staring at me because it was just me saying, look at me, I'm feeding my child. It sounds weird. I took kind of a pride in the fact that I was, breastfeeding my child. So, yeah, I think you just need to have confidence. You need to just not care what they think. If it's an issue to the point where, you have anxieties about it, I try to concentrate on something else. Like for a while when I would nurse in public, when I was uncomfortable, I would grab my phone, I'd put my cover on, put my baby on, latched on, I'd grab my phone and just distract myself with Facebook or something on my phone, or text somebody just to get a distraction or some moral support. That way you're not constantly looking around to see who's staring at you, and you kind of are not thinking directly about, oh my God, people are looking at me and thinking I'm weird. So, to distract yourself with something like that, or text somebody, this is my nursing bra by the way, it's not my skin, who can just kind of talk you through your anxieties while you're nursing is kind of helpful. But yeah, I mean, that's the only advice I can give you. It's all about just your own comfort, kind of. And also realizing that not everybody's staring at you because they don't like the fact that you're breastfeeding in public. Like, I had a woman staring at me in Ann Arbor, and I felt really uncomfortable. But then when I looked up, she smiled at me. So I think, she was just looking at me because she, was probably remembering when she breastfed her child, or the fact that she maybe was a fellow breastfeeder, and was just happy to see another woman out doing it. So you kind of just have to, like, it's when I was paranoid when people were staring at me when I was pregnant. Some people on here said that they love looking at pregnant women because it just makes them happy. Well, that's kind of how you have to think of breastfeeding too. Not everybody is out to attack you. Not everybody is glaring at you. And some people might just not even be looking at you. They might be looking past you, but you think they're looking at you because you're, have those insecurities. So I think you just have to have a clear mind, be confident, and just practice, take baby steps, and find a good cover. If that's, a lot of times I'll be nursing Kaya while walking around with my cover on, and nobody will even know. And when they see her moving or her foot pop out, they're like, "Oh, you're feeding your baby." So, it's all about how you look at it and how you think about it. So, yeah. Good luck, and if you have any questions or need any moral support, feel free to comment back and forth with me. And yeah, I don't know, sorry. I do have actually like a breastfeeding video that I did when I was pregnant. I'll leave a link underneath to here, or a click-through annotation on the screen somewhere. But I get kind of heated about the whole breastfeeding thing, so I've kind of chilled out since then though. But yeah, I'm gonna go because I'm distracting her from breastfeeding right now, and I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye.